Hi yogis, I'm SarahBeth, and let's start today's backbending yoga routine in a seated position at the back of your mat. Any comfortable seated position will do. Just find a place where you can close your eyes and take a couple of deep and slow breaths. This is exactly how I want you to breathe throughout the rest of this routine. Deep, slow, and mindful. Now come forward onto your hands and knees into a tabletop position. Drop your belly, press your chest through your biceps, and lift your chin. This is cow pose. Next, tuck your chin, cave your chest, and round your spine into a cat back. Inhale, find cow pose, drop the belly, lift the chin. Exhale, find cat back, round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, warming up the spine. Exhale, cat. Now come to a neutral position in your tabletop and step your hands forward 6 extra inches, then curl your toes under and reach your hips high into downward facing dog. Keep your knees bent so you can tilt your tailbone up, press your hips high and back, and press your chest towards your thighs for a big opening through your chest and shoulders. Shift forward to a high plank, lower down to your knees, and come all the way down to your belly. Flip to the tops of your feet and zip your legs together so your ankles touch. Then pinch your elbows together behind your back and peel your chest off the mat. Try to use your back muscles to keep you lifted so your hands can just hover off the mat. Now lower and release into a belly shavasana, with one ear down to the mat and your arms out long by your sides. Completely relax. To open through your shoulders, extend your right arm 90 degrees from your side with the palm down. Plant your left hand underneath your left shoulder and zip your legs together. Press into your left hand to roll your body onto your right side and let your right ear rest on the mat. Bend your left knee to point up to the ceiling and plant the foot anywhere behind you. Breathe into the stretch you feel. And lower down to switch sides. Bringing your legs out long behind you, reach your left arm 90 degrees from your side. Plant your right hand under your right shoulder. Zip the legs together and roll your body onto your left side to open through your left shoulder and chest with your left ear down. Bend your right knee up to the ceiling and plant the right foot behind you. Relax your neck and deepen your breath. Lower down onto your belly in a neutral position for floor bow. Bend both knees and reach back to grab the outer edges of your feet. Be mindful that your knees don't splay open. Keep them hip distance. Then lift through your shoulders and chest like in low cobra, but also use your legs by extending your legs into your hands to help with the lift. If you're feeling good here, breathe deep to bob a little. And you can go deeper by wrapping your hands around your ankles, then flex your toes to your knees and push through your heels. Keep bobbing and breathing. Now lower down and release into your belly shavasana. With one ear down, ankles open, palms up. Press up and back into extended child's pose, with your knees wide and arms out long in front of you. Relax all the muscles along your spine. Lift up enough to thread your right arm underneath, then relax back down and breathe into your upper back and the space between your shoulders. Lift up and replace the right hand to thread your left arm underneath. Focus on maintaining an expansive breath. Then de-thread the needle and rest in your extended child's pose for a few moments. Now come to stand on your knees for camel pose. Release any past ideas or judgments about this pose and let it be what it needs to be for you today. So with the knees hip distance, place your hands on your lower back, tuck your tailbone under so your hips press forward, and as you inhale, lift your chest and chin up to the ceiling. As you exhale, start bending back, but keep your hips pressing forward. Take this as deep as you'd like to go, but maintain a slow, deep, and mindful breath. And slowly come out, sit back on your knees and heels with your hands on your thighs. Take 1 or 2 big breaths in and out to ground and calm the body. Walk your hands forward and bring your right knee to your right wrist for half pigeon pose. Sink into your hips and walk your hands up to puff up through your chest so you can open through your hip flexor as well. After a couple of deep breaths here, feel free to surrender and rest for about 30 more seconds in this deep hip opening pose. Start walking your hands back up and curl your back toes under to lift up into a 3-legged downward facing dog. Stretch and reach through your right foot, and then bend your right knee so your hips open. Sink your heel towards your left hip and very mindfully catch yourself in flip dog. With both knees bent, keep lifting through your hips and heart and reach your right arm to the top of your space. Mindfully come back to downward facing dog and pedal at the legs. Drop down to your knees and bring your left knee to your left wrist for half pigeon. Stay puffed up and keep the weight even between your hips. Take a few big breaths to open through your chest and hip flexor, and then whenever you're ready, surrender into the same variation that you took on the other side. Start walking your hands back up Curl your back toes under and lift up into your three-legged down dog. For flip dog, bend the knee, open the hips, and gently catch yourself with your left foot. With both knees bent, open through your chest as you reach through your left arm. And gently come back to down dog and pedal out the legs and hips. Next inhale, look up and bend your knees. And as you exhale, step your feet all the way through to a seated position and come to lie down on your back. Extend your legs up to the ceiling for legs up the wall. And next is plow pose. So if you wish to modify, you can see a variation on screen. For plows, use your core to lift your hips and send your toes to touch the ground behind you. Take your hands to your lower back to support your hips stacking over your shoulders. Be mindful not to move your neck and shoulders once you're here. Just focus on the length you're creating along your spine and hamstrings. To come out, bend your knees and slowly lower your spine and hips back down to the mat for a fish pose. And again, there's another option on screen for modification. Fishes. Start with your knees bent and feet flat on the mat. Rock your hips side to side to slide your hands and forearms under your bottom, palms down. Then, as if someone has wrapped a string around your ribs and they're pulling it up, roll your shoulders back and arch your chest up so that you shift your weight to the crown of your head and your neck is open, chest is lifting. And you can keep your legs as they are, or extend your legs straight down the mat. Or for the full expression, let your strong, long legs hover just inches above the mat. Now slowly release. Bend your knees so your feet are flat, and release your arms and hands. Let your back rest down on the mat. Let your knees fall towards each other so you can rest in a knock-kneed position, giving your back some time to relax. Pull your knees together above your hips for a final twist. Reach your arms out like a T and lower your knees down to the left. Turn your chin to the right and hook your left hand onto your right thigh for a couple deep breaths to ground your right shoulder blade down with each long exhale. Then come back to center to switch sides. Lower your knees to the right, chin to the left. Hook your right hand on your left thigh and take a few deep breaths here to ground your left shoulder blade down with each exhale. Come back to center and rest in Supta Baddha Konasana. With your feet together, let your knees fall open. Take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Gently close the eyes and let your inner thighs relax. If you enjoyed this routine, please click the like button and leave me a comment with your thoughts. Check out my 30-minute backbending yoga practice, along with many of my other heart opener and lower back videos in my back health playlist. Thank you for joining me and have a wonderful day.